Welcome everyone to What's New in Noble's Harmony version 4. All lines will be placed on mute to prevent any background noise. Thank you. Josh Wilsey, you can begin your webinar.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Darshé. Like she mentioned, the title of today's webinar is What's New in Noble Harmony version 4. So we're going to outline an overview of the differences between, or the new features from Harmony version 3 to Harmony version 4 today. My name is Josh Wilsey. Some of you may know me. I may be assigned to some of your accounts. Some of you may not. I'm a solutions engineer with Noble Systems. I've been with Noble Systems or other companies acquired by Noble Systems for about 10 years now. So I have a pretty deep knowledge of everything associated with the technical side from Noble Systems. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to be mindful of everybody's time. I know it's probably lunch hour for some people. We're going to jump right into an overview of the new features of Harmony version 4. So there's a couple of key areas for Harmony version 4, places where Harmony version 4 is very different from Harmony version 3. One of the biggest differences between Harmony version 3 and Harmony version 4 is we've incorporated the recording playback portion of that was previously in Maestro, and we've incorporated that into Harmony. So now in Harmony, you have an in-browser capability of playing back call recordings. So you have the ability to play back agent audio as well as optional recording of the agent screen inside your browser. So it also supports playback via voice path, as it always has. You have the capability of archiving those recordings, exporting them, or using a speech analytics engine like Noble Interaction Analytics to analyze those recordings after the fact in a different interface. So we're going to be looking at the different features like the screen recording, and then I'll do a short demo at the end of those new features. The ability to put the playback of these recordings into your browser is made possible by the new Harmony Media Server. So the Harmony Media Server actually is the server that takes the raw files, the raw files from the recordings, and it converts them into a compressed format like MP3, MP4, something like that if it's a video, and streams those call recordings to the browser, right, directly to the browser. So you can have multiple media servers if you choose on your location. They go on a Windows Server machine, much like Harmony does, usually the same server as a Harmony Media Server. They can be a separate server. You could use multiple servers for load balancing. There is a lot of options for how you deploy it. But the files are recorded as you select them and converted as you select the specific recording you want to choose, and you go to listen to it. So one of the other new features inside the interface for recording playback inside of Harmony 4 is the recording tagging feature. So this allows you to tag certain segments of a call recording with pre-recorded tags you set up. For example, maybe you want to have a tag every time there's a compliance event. Maybe that's the moment in which your agent informs the listener that they are being recorded. In that case, you could tag it with a compliance event at the moment in time when that occurred, and you can then in the future, another agent or another quality assurance agent can skip directly to that point in the call. So one other note on the recording tagging, that feature specifically is only available on our Postgres-based system for recording tagging. So some additional recording playback features. Recording playback options now supports native WAV file formats. So you can actually use WAV file instead of MP3 or Vox. Harmony also allows the user to save a specific search. So your search parameters for a call recording, including the date ranges, can be saved so you can go back later and select a specific search pattern and go back and find the same set of recordings from previous search. Again, you can also adjust the speed of playback. So Harmony has the capability, the playback window has the capability to play back at half speed, full speed, or double speed. So you can go slow, normal, or fast. So again, that's a quick overview of the recording playback. But the other thing that goes along with recording playback is our scorecards and our quality assurance module, Once again, it's a piece that exists in Maestro, but a new version with a lot more features has been moved over into Harmony. So your new Harmony Evaluation Scorecard Builder allows you to create and publish scorecards in the Scorecard Designer, creating the questions that you choose. The scorecards are evaluated inside the recording playback module, so as they're listening to the recording, they can be evaluating the scorecards. The scorecard evaluation system for Harmony is new, and it's only going to apply to recordings evaluated in Harmony. So what that means is essentially your old scorecards will need to be rebuilt in the Harmony interface, and reporting and all those kind of things have their own reporting sets for the Harmony-based scorecards versus Maestro-based scorecards. Your Maestro-based scorecards won't go away, and your scorecard systems in Maestro don't disappear once you have Harmony 4. You just have a newer, more advanced method with new question types and new features for evaluating those scorecards. So, for example, on the Harmony scorecards, there's new question types. We still have a yes/no question. We've added multiple choice. Scale is something you have the capability to question type. The multiple choice type question allows possible different score point values. And actually, the next thing we're going to talk about is you can actually branch the logic based off of those. The informative type allows the evaluator to enter free-form text to answer the question. So you can have essentially a question asked with a text box for them to respond with text about a certain question. So again, like I mentioned, logical branching inside the scorecard questions. Harmony scorecards include the option to branch directly to a different question. So you answer a specific type of question, or either multiple choice or yes, no, and it can send you on to the next question based on your response. Harmony scorecards all have the capability of setting a checkpoint. When you set a checkpoint, if the score is exceeding a certain value at that time, the checkpoint is reached, then it moves you on and finishes and evaluates the scorecard. Also, you can have categories for grouping questions, so you can set specific groups up. For instance, maybe it's issue identification is a type of question you want to use. You can set those into categories, and they can be separated and reported on as well. Another new feature of Harmony 4. Harmony 4 includes controls for Noble's new real-time speech analytics module. So real-time speech analytics is an optional add-on product. It's separately licensed from Harmony 4. Only available, I'm sorry, it's separately licensed from Harmony 4. But what it allows you to do is monitor call audio automatically and display key phrases, or I'm sorry, display alerts, and actually change composer scripting based on key phrases said or phrases omitted during a call. So in this example at the top, where the agent says, "Thank you for calling," within the first 10 seconds, they can get a positive alert for their RTSA scorecard, the positive ones on the left. If they maybe used inappropriate language, they would get a red alert for a flag for forbidden words in our RTSA system. Now you can also use Composer to script certain pop-ups and events, change screens, things like that for the Composer agents as well. So Harmony displays the RTSA alerts in the Agent Stations widget in the wallboard, but when triggered by RTSA, positivity and compliance scores are tracked and available when you click on the little bubble with the number above the agent there. RTSA is available for our Postgres-based solutions only. Additional Harmony 4 changes. Additional changes to Harmony 4. If you have an emailed scorecard, an emailed scorecard can include a direct link to the playback of the associated recording in Harmony. Essentially, a user that has permissions to access Harmony. So if you have a Harmony login, you're able to click on a link inside of your scorecard evaluation that's been emailed to you and go listen to that recording that's associated with the scorecard. those external links are available. You can share them with people as long as they have a Harmony login that has access rights and permissions to listen to that recording. Then they'll be able to listen to that recording. Harmony now can hide specific pacing methods that are marked as unavailable for use. So if you have only a certain subset of pacing methods that you wish to allow your people to set as a pacing method for a specific campaign or for all campaigns, you can hide the other pacing methods so they're unavailable for use. The Harmony dashboard widget now includes the list description in addition to list ID. So it'll give you a little bit of an easier way of finding which list you are loading versus just simply the list ID. We have a new alert that informs users if all site licenses for Harmony are currently in use, and you can go ahead and contact Noble Systems if that happens regularly, and we can help you get that sorted. Also, for all new features and all features included in Harmony, system filters are included to restrict Harmony access to a desired subset of campaigns, agents, groups, etc. So you can filter it down by department, campaign, group, so that the person logging in on a specific login can only see the associated information from their campaign or group, etc. So that's one way to narrow it down for having multiple people log in with maybe multiple different departments or business units. You can restrict them to only view what they're concerned with. Now, and similarly, all new features, including all the existing features that happened in Harmony before, are being tracked as auditable actions. So when someone makes a change in Harmony, you're able to view that change in a report and see who and when certain changes were made as an auditable action. So that's a quick overview. I know it took about 12 minutes to get through it. That's a quick overview of the major new features of Harmony 4. I'm going to do a quick demonstration on my system here of some of the new quality assurance and recording playback feature set. So I've got my browser here, and you'll note that I think I'm using Mozilla Firefox. Harmony is capable of working with Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Safari Mobile on your mobile devices. There's a wide variety of web-based or web browsers that are compatible with use for Harmony. And there's obviously all that information is available from Noble support if you're questioning a specific browser, a specific version of a browser. But what you'll notice is that Harmony 4 has a new tab at the top for quality assurance. We have a couple of different views inside the quality assurance. Oh, excuse me, sorry about that. Inside the quality assurance module, we have recording playback and scorecard design. So I'm going to start with recording playback, right? And then inside of recording playback, you can see you can manage your exports. Those exports may be automated exports to send recordings over to a speech analytics system, like our Noble Interaction Analytics system. It could, you could be exporting just for your knowledge, for archive's sake, keeping them on a different system, something like that. We also have the capability to search for specific recordings. So this replaces your recording playback search inside of Maestro. You'll notice we have all the same type of controls to find a specific recording, right? You can look at a date range. You can look at a time range, so you can set it for specific dates and times. You can search for a specific file number if you have it. You can narrow it down to calls that have already been evaluated or calls that have not been evaluated, or you can view all calls. Or obviously you can set it to find only calls with screen recording versus those calls that don't have a screen recording associated with them. You can also select specific sites, supervisor, department. One thing we've added is historical department. So if you have an agent that maybe is a level 1 agent, for instance, and your agent then gets promoted into a level 2 and you put them in a different department, we actually can track what the department was historically for those agents, and you can find them based on those historical departments. And again, you can select a specific agent from a list as well. Right? I can go ahead and I can just look for calls made by James Castleman. Right? That's one way to do it. You can also look for specific calls by campaign, by list ID. by the actual recording duration or any other field that we have listed here, country code, area code, ADDI status, filler fields, etc. Again, we've got some other things you can find, archive status, station number. There is, or by specific scorecard template. There are a lot of free-form options available, so you can free-form search and an advanced search type for specific tags or ranges of dates that they were evaluated. I'm going to go back to the general tab right here. I'm going to look for recordings that were evaluated on today's date. And I've come up with a list of recordings here that have today's date associated with them. They're sorted based on the file number. I can flip that if I want. I can sort reverse order. I can sort based on the date and time, my agent name, whatever it is. I can look at a previously previously evaluated call, and I can actually email that evaluation out to someone. Right? I can email a scorecard with its score and send an email for a specific previously evaluated call. I can view all the metadata associated with that call, so you can see the additional fields associated with that call. Who was the contact? What was the agent code? What's the filler number, station number, etc. Right? Where is that located in our right play table? All of the various pieces of information about a specific call you can find. You can sort based on their type, whether they're audio only, audio, video, or specific campaigns. This is also where you would do a voice path login. If you do a voice path login, rather than transcoding the call and delivering it to your browser and your speakers on your PC, the voice path call would let you log in like an agent does to Noble and play the recording back over your audio path or your handset or your soft phone or however you normally log in as an agent. We've got some playback settings as well. We can export these files. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight one of these, and I'm going to just go ahead and press the play button so I can show you what the interface looks like when we're playing back a recording. Now note, this is a recording. This particular recording is a screen recording with audio, right? So we've got our screen recording brought up here. We've got our speed controls I mentioned earlier. We can go half speed. We can go full speed. We can go double speed, right? However we want to listen to that. Maybe your agents want to listen at double speed because they want to get through the calls faster. It's an option you do have. We can change the size of the video displayed. We can make it fill the screen if we want. So the entire screen is filled up. And whenever we're ready to play it, we can press play.
Okay, this is a test recording using Composer X Windows Agent.
So this is our test recording.
Audio plus agent screen video.
As you can see, it's moving around. It's capturing a screen, and you can hear his audio in real time as well. So some other things you're capable of doing inside of this interface, obviously you get your volume adjustment, but I can actually add a tag. And I mentioned tags earlier in the PowerPoint. Tags are really powerful for adding notes, specific points in the call. So I'm going to go ahead and select, maybe you have a tag for a point where a customer mentions a bankruptcy. You want to tag that recording with bankruptcy and export that file and send it to a different group, something like that. You can apply that, and now that I've applied that tag, whenever I look at my recording, I have a yellow tag for bankruptcy in my recording. So I've got it listed down here as the tags for this call. I could be playing the record, and if I click skip to, it's going to back up to the point in time where I noted or I tagged that call with that flag. So you can add as many tags as you want and select a new tag, maybe a compliance event right here in the call. Maybe I want to add a tag for a inappropriate language used, right? And so that one added to the front of the call. Maybe use at the beginning of the call. Then I can save the tags. Once I save the tags, they're associated with that recording. And the next person that comes in to look at that recording, they're going to, whether that's the supervisor or the QA agent that heard it the first time, or it's just a follow-up in a different campaign or a different QA campaign, they're going to be able to skip to specific points in the recording and listen to the highlights that the first recorder, the first QA agent noted in the campaign tag. The interface for evaluating based on these scorecards is also inside the media player. So if I click on Evaluate, I'm going to be able to select a specific template to evaluate. So I'm going to go ahead and select my collections template. Right? You can have one template. If you do, it jumps right into the evaluation scorecard. They're associated, and I'll show you in the scorecard designer in a moment how those are associated. But for now, I'm just going to evaluate using my collections scorecard. Once I do that, my scorecard is available below my playback window. Right? So you've got your typical scorecard evaluation. You've got questions here. Did the agent identify the correct company? Yes. Did the agent provide a mini Miranda for dual party consent? We're going to say yes. Did the agent inform the customer the call is in relation to the collection of a debt, the mini Miranda? We can say yes to that. What type of loan is in question? So maybe it's a home loan, right? Maybe it's a credit card. We can evaluate that with a multiple choice. And each of these multiple choice question or answers, are available with different score values. So if you have 4 different options for the answer that the agent gave the customer, you may associate different scores with those answers. Did the agent ask the customer why they were late with the payment? You could say yes or no. I could set this as a checkpoint, say no, and set the scorecard to an overall 0. I could also set a certain point threshold. Once they've achieved a certain number of points, I can say that scorecard is evaluated and move on. How happy was the customer with the choices presented? I can move that slider around, and I can type free-form text in here. Did the agent have an opportunity to upsell the customer? Yes. Customer transferred to auto loan department. Right? I can enter notes in there, things that happened on that call that I noticed. We can change the status to evaluated. Right? I can enter free-form notes about the call overall if I want to. Great call, improving, something like that. Right? Save the notes for that call and go ahead and click submit, and it saves my evaluation scorecard and associates it with this record. So I get a green bubble here now. This call is evaluated. I can then email that evaluation if email is allowed in my scorecard template, and we can email it to the agent themselves, to their supervisor. We can also email it to a free-form email address as well if you choose. So again, we can evaluate it based on a specific template. I'm going to show you a different template really quick. The template I'm going to show you is our branching template. So I mentioned earlier in the PowerPoint that we have the capability to do branching logic inside of a scorecard evaluation. I just built this one really quickly to show how that might work, right, in practice. So the scorecard I did just a moment ago was very specific. It was one whole page of questions. There was no branching associated. In this scorecard evaluation, when you set branching on specific questions, it will display one scorecard question at a time. And depending on the answer you give that scorecard, it will lead the QA agent in a different direction. So if my first question is what type of loan was being serviced on my call, and I select, let's say I select credit card. So if I'm listening to a call related to a credit card debt, I select credit card and hit next. And my next question is, did the agent ask the credit card customer about a new Platinum card upgrade offer? So we had an upsell opportunity that I want to make sure that my agent offered. And in this case, I went directly to question number 3. I skipped other questions associated with other loan types because they're not important to this particular question. And those branching scripting is available on multiple choice as well as yes/no questions. So if I go back and I change the loan type to home loan and I hit next, I'm going to reset answers, but did the agent offer proper assistance for finding a state licensed home loan officer? Right. So maybe in this event, to talk about this person's home loan, they need to be talking to someone who's licensed in their state. So I need to have a different set of questions than a credit card call. Right? So you can actually, rather than have agents all separated into different areas for QA purposes and calls going to different scorecards for each one of these, we can merge different scorecards into one scorecard with branching questions and allow you to evaluate based on specifics such as type of loan, maybe type of customer, whatever the whatever industry they're in, whatever the individual evaluation criteria you set, you're going to be able to evaluate based on that. So and again, I've got a couple other questions here, but that's not the important part. I'm not going to save this scorecard because we're already evaluated in a different scorecard. So that's an overview of the recording playback functionality of the new quality assurance module for Harmony 4. We also have an entire scorecard designer area. Scorecard designer allows building of all those scorecards you just saw, all those assigning of campaigns to templates or templates to campaigns. So that's where we can actually set templates. So this way my branching template is associated with all the campaigns I have on my system. You can obviously narrow that down. You can add new associations, things like that. You can set up different statuses, right? Evaluated is my status for having evaluated a call. Maybe an evaluation failed is a status you want to have so that your agents can code a call so that their evaluation failed notification is in place. You can set scorecard categories. We mentioned this briefly, but the scorecard question categories allows you to group inside, either globally or inside specific scorecards, different types of questions, right? So you can set, maybe there's introductory type questions, and you can score them separately so that you know that an agent has a good score in introductory questions, but they need to work on issue identification, or what the specific piece is. You can separate them using our scorecard question categories. And finally, the designer. This is really where you set most of the logic for those scorecards. When looking at a specific scorecard, I'm looking at a retired one. I'm going to look at the current one real quick. We're looking at the published scorecard, right? This one's the version 1. It's been retired. Version 2 is published. I can edit this scorecard, and we can look at the questions used in the scorecard, right? So, for instance, if I go and look at my first question, what type of loan is being serviced, you can see that I've got no category associated. You can add a hint to your question if you want to have somebody be able to hover their mouse over a question and view a hint related to that question. That's an option you have. You can set the category. You can set a question that's not required. So in this case, if you set this check mark for not required, your QA agent can skip over that question without filling in the answer. That's something a lot of people like to do to give people the capability to skip past the question. If there's a question that's critical and you have to have it answered on every call, you'd uncheck the not required to answer and make them answer that question. We talked about the checkpoints. So if a score of at least, let's say, 20 is reached, it'll end the evaluation immediately without asking any more questions. You've officially ended your scorecard because they've crossed the point threshold, right? That's one option you have. Allow notes. That simply allows notes on a specific question or overall. So below, on a scorecard question. So below, because this is a multiple choice type of question, we have our answers associated with that question in what order they are and what branching is associated, etc. So we can actually look and edit or move down, move up, right? We can change the order of those right in the interface. We can actually look at one of these and edit it. And you can see here's our text, is auto, branching goes to a different question. So once you've set additional questions up, you have the option to branch to those questions rather than branching rather than just flowing through the next number and setting a score, whether or not it's a violation of maybe a policy or an automatic 0, or whether or not you want to continue on that automatic 0 is also an option. So then you'll notice that the branching section, I have a different question, inside each individual branch, right, for home, auto, and credit card, right? So that's how you configure branching for a specific question. And below, as you can see, I've set branching for each of the other questions. These are yes/no type questions. These are the follow-up questions to the what type of loan it is, and in that I've set the branch to go to the last question rather than flow through to a question unrelated to the type of loan. Again, you've got your email options, whether you want to send email to an agent, to a supervisor, or to another user. You've got the capability to set that. You can actually show the score on the individual card to the evaluator. So whether or not you want that score to show up is something you have an option to do. And then allowing scorecard notes as well enters that note field that I showed you earlier. Again, we've got a few different scorecard types. Different, you have as many scorecard questions as you want. The order can be changed. You can change values to change scoring in your reports, things like that. Enter hints. I think it's a very robust interface for building scorecards and building scorecard evaluations for your QA agents. So that's my my demonstration of the current capabilities of Harmony 4 as far as scorecards are related and quality assurance playback, recording playback. So let's go back for a minute and talk about how you get Harmony 4. So if you're a current Harmony 3 user with your Noble systems, you can contact Noble support and schedule an upgrade. I did see a question come through about whether or not it would be an automatic upgrade. If you're a Noble Cloud customer with Harmony 3, and you've elected to allow the Noble Cloud support team to upgrade your system automatically, you may get the upgrade to Harmony version 4 automatically. In either case, if you don't have Harmony version 4 and you're a current customer using Harmony version 3, contact Noble support. Tracy Tant there is our upgrades department. We'll be more than happy to get you schedule that and get you up and running on Harmony 4, the new recording playback piece. If you're not a current Harmony 3 or any previous version of Harmony user, you're still using Maestro for everything you do in your contact center, and you don't use Harmony and you don't have that licensed, you can talk to your account management team, either your sales account manager or your support account manager, and talk about the next steps to being upgraded to use Harmony. So we're going to go ahead really quick. I know we've done about 32 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and move forward into a Q&A session. We had some questions submitted when people registered for the webinar. We've had some questions submitted during the webinar. I'm going to cover a few selected questions that we've had. So I'll get started with that. Just 1 second. So one of the questions I had is about security. So this question is in relation to exposing Harmony, the scorecards and evaluations and recording playback to clients. So for instance, if you're a business process outsourcer and you have multiple clients that need access to recordings or need access to Wallboard, what are the security concerns around that? So that's something that I can speak to. First of all, the Harmony interface, if you're a cloud customer of Noble Systems, that is only available externally using HTTPS, using SSL encryption. So all the data associated is encrypted over the wire. If you're a premise-based user, you'll need to arrange either to use secure HTTP or HTTPS and expose that URL over the internet, or give your customers, your clients, a secure VPN login that they can log into to access Harmony. So it'll be one or the other, right? Ways to get to it, right? Either over the open internet, over HTTPS for security purposes, or over a VPN. Now, further than that, what are the security concerns? Maybe you have multiple clients. Maybe the question is not so much about security as far as the bits and bytes, but security as far as multi-tenancy or nearly multi-tenancy. As some of you know, Noble Systems isn't a true multi-tenant system. In the case that we don't really have complete separation there of all data and multiple databases, etc. What we do offer is a very robust interface for filtering and for restricting access. So if I were to make Harmony available to a customer, my primary concern would be that they wouldn't be able to see other customers' information, and that's achieved using Harmony filters. Just like Maestro filters before, with the more advanced features, we're able to narrow down the number of campaigns, departments, groups, or even agents using a pattern match type of interface that a particular Harmony user can see. So if you narrow it down to just a specific set of groups or just a specific set of campaigns, your Harmony user that you set up for your client would only be able to see recordings, scorecards, settings as far as any settings you give them access to, Wallboard information, agent stations. The only information they're going to see is information associated with their account because they've been filtered down to only see that information associated with their account. Further, those same Harmony logins are capable of being locked down, so they only have access to specific pieces of Harmony. So recording playback might be something you want to open up to your clients, but maybe you don't want to open up, the Harmony wallboard to your clients for monitoring. So you can actually set Harmony to only have access to recording playback. Even further, you actually have the ability to restrict access per module in Harmony, whether it's recording playback, wallboard, or control panel. You can set those as read-only as well. So you can give someone a login where they can view maybe recordings, but maybe you don't want them to be able to evaluate a scorecard. You set that to read-only, you have that capability. So there's a lot of capabilities surrounding security. If you have further questions about security, maybe you have some deep questions about the SSL or the encryption used, or any of the password authentication, anything like that, go ahead and find out who your solution engineer on your account is, and we'd be more than happy to walk you through all the different security aspects of Harmony 4. Let's see. I had a question, what's the difference between Harmony QA and speech analytics? So Harmony QA that you're seeing, the quality assurance piece that you're seeing in this demonstration, that is for manual quality assurance scoring and recording playback of your recording. So it requires a human being to log into Harmony, view a recording, listen to a recording, evaluate a scorecard, give it a score, answer questions, etc. Interaction Analytics, Noble Systems Speech Analytics product, can take a post-call group of your calls, a batch of your calls, if you will, and analyze those looking for key phrases after the fact, and essentially allow you to have an automated system to use quality assurance best practices across 100% of your calls, versus a QA agent may not have the time to get to 100% of your calls in a manual mode, right? So speech analytics is important because it actually allows you to get insight into every phone call versus just the handful you can actually get someone to listen to in a manual QA environment. Another question, are there differences using different browsers for Harmony? Are there differences in user interface between the desktop and a mobile client? The answer to that is there are no real differences in any browser for Harmony. I've noticed a couple of differences in color between Internet Explorer and, say, Firefox or Chrome, but functionality-wise, there's no actual difference between using Harmony in, say, Internet Explorer, or let's say Safari on a Mac or Safari Mobile on an iPad. All of those user interfaces are designed with touch-friendly controls in mind. You'll notice that Harmony version 4 and all Harmony versions before use the big bubbles for touching different icons. They use selection lists where you can select multiple things at a time by tapping on them. Those controls are specifically designed for mobile interaction in mind. They also work well on a desktop as well. On to the next question, how is recording accomplished for remote agents? So when you log in as a remote agent, you establish an audio path out to your remote agent that allows you, through your soft phone or your telephone on your desk or your PBX phone, however you set up that audio path. When you set that audio path up, Noble Systems DRS recording or digital recording software, that records the call at the station end of the server. So the server itself is recording that phone call. Now, if you're recording screens on a remote agent, the screen recording always takes place on the agent's desktop and is moved off of the agent's desktop at the end of the call. We've had a lot of interest lately in recording screens for cloud customers and for remote customers. I would say that it is something we are offering at this time. Previously, it had been a difficult thing to do due to bandwidth concerns, and I would still say for remote agents in their home, you may have to evaluate whether or not the bandwidth requirement is too high for screen recording, because it is quite, those are big files, especially if you have long calls or you have a lot of people using those remote users. You can bring a pretty big MPLS or VPN tunnel or internet connection down with enough of these going across it. I would say that needs to be evaluated. Now, for our cloud customers, we are offering in the future the capability to put a premise-based archive server in your location that will do the transcoding and the streaming of that media to your agents and eliminate that hop over the MPLS, which can eliminate those bandwidth concerns. So that's really the best practice for doing screen recording on a cloud-based customer or a remote-based customer, is to have a server on site that can do the that you can upload those recordings to over your local area network and do the transcoding in place. The last question I had today to cover, had time to cover today, is can the screen capture view 2 monitors at a time? Yes, absolutely. One of the new features of the latest versions of screen recording is multiple screen capture. You actually can capture as many screens are connected to the system. So it can do 2 or 3, however many screens are connected to the desktop that the Composer agent is using. You can record all of those if you so choose. Also note, like our last conversation about cloud-based screen recording, with any screen recording change you make, whether it's the number of frames per second, the resolution, or the number of screens being viewed, you do change your bandwidth requirements. You'll need to talk to Noble support or your solutions engineer to make sure that you understand the full impact of those changes to your infrastructure, your MPLS, if you're going over a wide area network, or your local area network, or even disk space on your voice archive server, or those kind of impacts, right? Because you do affect the size of those screen recordings quite a bit. So that's about all we had time for today. We were scheduled for 45 minutes. We're at about 42. I think that's all we had for today. Thank you guys very much for your time.